ahead, President Trump is promising to nominate a new Supreme Court justice next week, and NBC's Steve Kornacki has a closer look at 3 names in the running. And Steve, before we get to your short list, let's talk first about what is going to need to happen in order to push through his nominee, and what kind of fight can President Trump expect from Democrats?
Oh, this is interesting. The fight, excuse me, the fight over the fight, because of course you have this rule in the Senate traditionally, the filibuster. If the opposition party doesn't like the president's pick, they can force you to get 60 votes. Well, there's been some chipping away at that by the Democrats over the last few years, and now here's a hint that Republicans, if Democrats try to mount a filibuster, maybe they'll go all the way, they'll change the rules again, they'll destroy the filibuster, they'll just need 50 votes. Bottom line, if they want to do that, they can.
Let's talk about the names we're going to be hearing a lot about in the next couple of days.
Yeah, so we've got 3 here that NBC News is kind of focused in on. We think Trump may be down to these 3. In fact, here, one of them, William Pryor, federal judge, but also a former politician. He was the Attorney General of Alabama. If you look at the pros and cons here, this is a little bit of his biography, but if you look at the pros and cons here, see if we can get that. Here we go. Here we go. Get that thing running. So first of all, this is what the right has been waiting for. They left this seat vacant for the entire campaign. They wanted a conservative. This guy, very outspoken on social issues. Here's the con. On a scale of 1 to 10, this fight would be an 11. There's all sorts of ammunition here for Democrats to go after. This would rile up Democrats, to say the least. Here's another contender, Neil Gorsuch. Again, talking about a federal judge here, a little bit of his background for you. What are the pros and cons Trump might be looking at? Well, again, a low-key Scalia. This is Antonin Scalia's seat. There's some indications he shares the judicial philosophy, not the temperament. So maybe a little easier to get through a confirmation hearing. On the other hand, Democrats are fired up for this. They don't think this seat should have been left vacant. That may not give them too much reassurance. A third possibility here, Thomas Hardiman, again, a federal judge. You can look at some of his background in terms of what Trump might be looking at here for pros and cons. It's the life story, actually. Biography here is interesting. Yeah, there's a blue-collar family, Waltham, Mass. He drove a taxi in college, did not go to the Ivy League, a little bit of a different route than we usually see for these things. So they might be interested in that story. Also, there's this idea of sort of a stealth factor, a little bit less of a paper trail here. That makes conservatives nervous. They want a slam dunk. They want to know one of their own is on this court for a long time. Maybe a few questions there, at least.
A little more of a dark horse than on him.
Steve, nicely done. Thank you very much. By the way, President Trump is now tweeting about the voter fraud issue, saying, "I will be asking for a major investigation into voter fraud, including those registered to vote in 2 states." So action from the president, even as we were talking about it just a couple of minutes ago.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.